Am I the asshole for refusing to help my wife and her friend anymore over what my wife calls a miscommunication? Fake names. My wife, Emily, has a longtime friend, Leslie, who has recently become a single mother. Leslie does not have a working vehicle at the moment and is working 2 jobs, so Emily took it upon herself to help Leslie out as much as she can. Emily had started asking me to help as well in driving Leslie and her kids around, taking them to school/appointments, taking Leslie to the grocery store, etc., whenever Emily or someone else couldn't. I agreed since it made my wife happy and I understand the kind of situation Leslie is in. Helping has turned into Emily inviting Leslie and her kids over often, or organizing trips that they would like, such as camping or fishing. A few times my wife was unable to attend these get-togethers she organized due to work and insisted they still take place, leaving me to entertain Leslie and her kids on my own. Since I've known Leslie my entire relationship with my wife, I didn't think too much about this. The times that it has been me left with her, or sent in Emily's stead to shuttle Leslie around, I've made normal small talk with her and her kids. Recently, Leslie's kids were going to be away for a weekend, so Emily wanted to have Leslie over for dinner and some movies. She asked me to text Leslie to ask her over, and when I did, Leslie replied with, "Just as friends, right? I'm not interested in being anyone's girlfriend." I thought that response was out of left field, so I asked her why she'd even say that, and her response was pretty much, "No guy would be asking me and my kids how we're doing or helping me out unless he wanted something in return." I told Leslie it wasn't anything like that, and then showed my wife the conversation and informed her I would be stepping back from helping her with anything involving Leslie and to leave me out of any future plans. I also offered to show her the rest of my phone and anything else. Emily believed me, but she still talked to Leslie about it to see what had given her that impression, and accordingly, she gave Emily the same answer. A few days later, Leslie apologized to Emily and told her that her emotions and mind were just all over because of a down day. That's fine, but I'm still not willing to help her or my wife out anymore as I had been, because I don't want any repeats or accusations hurled at me when I was helping as my wife asked. Emily thinks I'm overreacting and should just brush it off because it was just a silly miscommunication she had on a bad day. Ida? Additional info. The text I sent Leslie about the night was, "Emily wants to know if you'd like to come over for dinner and some movies on Saturday." That's why her response was so out of left field. I sent the text because Emily was busy on her phone and wanted to know ASAP so we could make our weekend plans. Edit. Thanks for all the comments and different perspectives. I'll talk to Emily tonight when we get home about the overhelping and what to do going forward. We are not swingers. Leslie knows my wife is completely monogamous. And while I will be bringing up concerns she's helping too much, this level of help between the two of them has been present for as long as I've known my wife. Relevant comments. NTA, but why is your wife so suddenly attached to this woman? If I were Leslie, I'd be wondering more if your wife wants a girlfriend than you. They've always been attached at the hip. When my wife had surgery for carpal tunnel, Leslie kept showing up even when I was home to take care of Emily and the house. Add in that my own sister is similar with some of her close friends. I never found their friendship strange. Info. How long have you and your wife been acting as Leslie's chauffeurs and doing everything for her? What is Leslie's plan to get her own life back together? It's been about 4 months. Leslie is trying to save up to get a new used car or her current one fixed, as well as looking for a cheaper place to live. Info. Does she have trauma in her background? This sounds more like someone who has learned people give nothing for free and has been betrayed or hurt in the past. No idea. NTA. But only because Leslie didn't apologize. And I don't think you're in the wrong for not helping her anymore. This is kind of a weird situation. Like if my friend asks me to go fishing with me and my kids, then sends her boyfriend/fiancé/husband in her place. That's pretty weird. If it was just an errand, that's one thing. But a whole ass fun trip is super weird. I would just cancel the plans at that point. Also, was this fishing and camping trip just you, Leslie, and her kids, or were there others involved? So I can actually kind of get Leslie's side, because this time, you directly texted her from your phone, right? When your wife sets up these errands/play dates, I'm guessing she initially says it'll be her, then shit might come up, and so maybe half the time, she then tells Leslie that you're coming. So a direct text to Leslie from you, asking to come over for movies, kinda does feel pretty off. Also, you say, paraphrase here, "No guy would be asking me and my kids how we're doing or helping me out unless he wanted something in return." but I'm curious what exactly the text messages say. My wife made the camping trip. One of the fishing trips when my wife couldn't make it and we knew ahead of time. We discussed canceling. She discussed it with Leslie and they both decided to go ahead with it. The other time my wife organized us all going to do something together. She was with us for about an hour before she had to leave. I did directly text her from my phone, which I've had to do before. My text read, "Emily wants to know if you'd like to come over for dinner and watch some movies on Saturday." I don't know about 100% of the time, but I have heard my wife tell Leslie she'd be sending me in her stead on a number of occasions, so it's not as if Leslie didn't have heads up. NTA, did she apologize to you in addition to Emily? That's what kinda sets it off. She can have an off day and feel like maybe everyone has an ulterior motive and get snappy, but she needs to apologize to the person she hurt, i.e. you. If you're worried she's going to make a move on you, and she's done more than this comment, that's different too. No, she did not apologize to me. Only to Emily. Anyway, I think there is more of a miscommunication between your wife and her friend. When your wife cannot drive or entertain her friend, does she let her friend know you are taking her place or that she volunteered you herself? Or do you just show up? The friend might be confused in this situation. While I understand the single mother's frustration, she needs to figure this out for herself. She cannot nor should she depend on everyone else forever. Also, where are the kids' fathers helping in their appointments? I don't know about each and every time, but I have been witness to my wife giving Leslie a heads up I would be showing up instead. For one outing Emily planned, I suggested canceling when Emily's schedule changed, but after Emily and Leslie discussed it, they decided to go on ahead without Emily because Leslie's kids were looking forward to it. NTA, but forgive her and move on. People get silly notions, and she's recently been abandoned, right? You've been very nice, and she didn't understand that your wife was directing it. I'm sure she's embarrassed enough, so it would be nice to accept her apology and not withhold your help. She knew my wife was directing it, and she did not apologize to me. NTA, I'm a Mormon, and in certain parts of my religious society this behavior would be seen as a clear attempt by Emily to groom Leslie to become a sister wife. Actual attempts to do so have been done with more tact and subtlety, and yes, they do happen, despite the fact that polygamy is literally illegal and banned by the church. She's going way too far, way too fast, and I'm not surprised Leslie is panicking a little when Emily is coming on like a wrecking ball and dragging Hubbo along with her. Leslie's the one who said the words, but she said them in reaction to Emily's energy and actions. Emily's the one who's been shoving Leslie and OP together, alone, at night, and then being conspicuous by her absence. That would get any honest person's hackles up, and I simply fail to believe Emily when she pretends not to be aware of this. Bottom line, I can't help but feel that Emily is up to no good here, and somewhere in the back of her mind may be an idea to share her husband with her childhood friend like just another possession. Question: is there any possibility that Emily may have learned she can't have children? That would certainly put a magnifying glass on a possible motive for Emily's behavior. Emily can have children, and she's only not been present twice in all the months she's been helping her. I don't know how people are taking a few times to mean constantly or often. Date. Thank you all for your input. There's been some good and not so good outcomes to this issue. My wife and I had a long conversation after I made my original post. I brought up points from both my perspective and possible points from Leslie's perspective that commentators made to explain the situation and why it had me uneasy enough to step back. I showed her the post, and she eventually relented. Emily decided she would speak with Leslie again to see if her having to leave during a couple of outings or missing one had made Leslie uncomfortable, despite Leslie agreeing ahead of time she was fine with Emily leaving/not showing up. We also discussed the matter of overhelping. In that regard, Emily wanted to keep helping her as she had been because that level of help is normal for them, but she would stop asking me to help when she couldn't. Instead, she said she would talk to Leslie about getting the kid's father to help out more now that her ex-fiancé was gone. She wound up agreeing I should have received the apology, but since I'm just hands-off now, I didn't see the point in pursuing it. I'm happy to say I have not volunteered to help or drive since our talk. She continued to help Leslie as she was able for a couple of weeks until things took a negative turn. There were a couple of times neither my wife or Leslie's other friends were able to give her a ride or help her, and she asked Emily where I was that I couldn't do it. Emily said she told her it was best I didn't to avoid any future misunderstandings. After the fourth time, Leslie asked my wife to have me drive her/pick stuff up for her when no one else could. Emily tells me that Leslie started in about how if what she said wasn't true then I wouldn't be avoiding her, but I'm acting as if I got rejected. According to Emily, Leslie started to draw parallels about how I went out of my way to do things for Emily right before we got together and started helping Leslie. So that was all the proof Emily should need about me having ulterior motives, and after that, she says Leslie devolved into telling Emily she'll wind up being left too. We have minimized contact with Leslie, and Emily told her she needs to do so unless Leslie seeks counseling for her breakup and stops having a negative outlook on the relationships around her, and then they can rebuild their friendship. That has been hard on Emily, so whenever I'm not working, I'm doing what I can to help her get through this. Thank you again, Reddit, for the fresh set of eyes. Am I the asshole for leaving my friend's bachelorette party? I have been sober for 1 year, after abusing drugs and alcohol for 6 years. Getting sober has truly changed my life. I rarely talk about my sobriety to others since I don't want to be annoying, and because it is no one's business. The only time I talk about it is when it is relevant. My friend is getting married in September, and I'm a bridesmaid. This weekend she had her bachelorette party. It was a bachelorette party weekend. She had gotten an Airbnb for us. I was also the only one with a driver's license and car, relevant. She knew me while I was drunk. She saw me recover and has, or I thought, never judged me, only supported me. I don't mind if people around me drink or do drugs. It is their life, their choice. I didn't know anyone at her party, but I still had fun on the first day. While everyone was getting drunk on Friday, I was just drinking my Coca-Cola. We were dancing, listening to music, and playing a drinking game. It was while we were playing the game that people tried to give me shots and asked why I wasn't drinking. I just told them that I didn't feel like drinking tonight and blamed it on that I had a long traveling day. The next day, during brunch, people were drinking mimosas. I was just drinking orange juice, and again I was asked why I am not drinking. I knew I would get asked this, and I had talked to my friend before this weekend. I decided this would be the perfect time to mention that I am sober and I don't drink. Some people asked me why. I didn't want to go into the details of it, since I didn't want to ruin the mood. So I said it is because of health reasons. Later that evening, I was drinking some soda and went to go to the bathroom. When I came back, I took a sip of my drink and they had put vodka in my soda. I spit it back out and asked who put vodka in my drink. I was upset about this, but I wasn't crying or causing a scene. I just thought maybe someone didn't know that this was my drink. One of my friends said that she did, and it was an accident. I didn't get mad because accidents happen. However, there was a little voice in my head telling me it was intentional. I shortly went outside to smoke a cigarette and to call my BF. I had walked behind the house, and my friend and 2 others came outside to smoke. I guess they didn't see me, since they talked about what had happened. My friend said she thought it was lame that I came, and that she misses the old drunk me, that she hoped this spike would make me relapse. I was listening in shock. I thought I knew this girl. For fuck's sake, I am one of her bridesmaids. I have known her for 8 years. I walked to the front of the house, looked at them, and went inside. They all looked shocked since they didn't know I was listening. I packed my things and drove off. I didn't say a single thing to them before I left, but they saw me leave. I decided not to block her on social media so that she can have a chance to explain herself and say sorry. Instead, I got a long message saying how selfish I was, making the whole weekend about me, and that I am an asshole for abandoning them, since I was the one that drove everyone there. So am I the asshole for leaving my friend's bachelorette party? Edit. Thank you all for the responses. I am obviously not going to be friends with someone like her or participate in her wedding. She has been talking shit about me to our friends, and I have been receiving a lot of shitty messages from them. She told people that I didn't like them drinking and was trying to ruin the night and that I just abandoned them. Keep in mind, they could very easily get from that place with public transport or taxi. Me driving them was me being nice to them. I have debated about messaging her fiancé and tell him some stuff about her. He is also sober himself, not due to substance abuse but due to health. I don't think he would like what she did to me. Also, they had agreed on not having any strippers, which she did have. And when we were out, she was flirting with other people. I think that is one of the reasons why I think she did it, since I said something about it. Maybe I shouldn't have interfered, but in my eyes she seemed drunk, and I didn't want her to do something that she would regret. Still wondering why she misses the old drunk me? I was a shit person when I was drunk. Also, the only reason why I told people I don't drink was because people typically don't accept it when you say that you don't like alcohol, etc. The reason why I haven't blocked her yet is because in my experience, it gets under people's skin more to not be blocked. She has messaged me more since I left, but I can't be asked to read her bullshit. Also, I will be making a post on my social media if she doesn't stop spreading lies about me. Getting sober saved my life. I am forever grateful and happy that I chose sobriety. I have also upped my therapy sessions just in case this makes me spiral. Update. I made a post 4 days ago about how I left my friend's bachelorette party after they put alcohol in my drink even though I am sober. I thought I would update anyone who is curious on what happened. Let's say it was a very eventful 24 hours. I needed to take a few more days to digest and reflect on everything that happened. I also wanted to talk to my therapist first to see what she thought I should do. We decided that I should message the fiancé, since if I was him, I would want to know the same as I would either way have told him about the cheating. I do not condone cheating, and turns out it wasn't the first time she did that. Here is what I wrote. Hi Paul, fake name. I know this might be weird since I'm sure by now you know that I left last weekend, but I wanted to talk to you about it. As you know, I have been sober for over 1 year now, and while we were at the bachelorette party, Olga, fake name, put vodka in my drink. I didn't realize it until I took a sip of it. I had asked them who did it, and Fiona, fake name, said she did it by accident. However, when I went outside to smoke, I overheard them saying it wasn't an accident and that they did it on purpose. My boyfriend heard the whole thing. You can ask him if you don't believe me. I also wanted to let you know that there they did get strippers, and I attached photos of it. And that she was very friendly to some men we met at the club, again attaching photos of her touching the arm of a man at the club. I wanted you to know because I don't find behavior like that okay, and I do not support it. I also wanted you to know that I will not be attending your wedding. I wish you the best. He saw the message and blocked me a few hours later. I also decided on confronting her. I am the kind of person who prefers to do things face to face. Me messaging her ex was something I did because I felt like it would be weird if I showed up to his place. However, I know where and when she works. I waited outside of her work, which I know is creepy, but I know she would not want to do this conversation face to face. I asked her if we could talk, and she said yes. This was a 1 hour long conversation, so I will summarize it. I told her how much it hurt me that she spiked my drink on purpose and that I could go to the police with this. I said it was childish of her going to our mutuals spreading lies about me. I told her that she is a coward for not admitting to what she did. And lastly, I told her I did not have any interest in being her friend anymore, and I will not be attending her wedding. She was very quiet during the conversation. She listened to everything I had to say. She said she was sorry. She felt like ever since I got sober I was boring because all I talk about is sobriety, which I don't do. That me telling her friends I am sober took the attention away from her. That I shouldn't have done that. I told her before we went that I would tell people that I am sober for health reasons if it were to come up. I told her that she has every right to feel this way, but it doesn't justify what she did to me. I ended the conversation with that I wish her the best, and I hope she gets the help that she needs. And I left. After this, I sent the message to her ex. I found out that her fiancé did end the relationship and that this isn't the first time she has done something like this. Turns out that she has several times poured alcohol into her fiancé's drinks, always saying it was an accident, and that she has cheated before. She did bombard me with messages saying how horrible I am, how selfish I am, that I would end my life, blah blah blah. I blocked her, and she is out of my life now. I am okay, and I had another therapy session today, just in case this triggered me. Thank you to all the people who commented on my last post with advice. Why I thought I was the asshole. Relevant comments. OOP when told flirting isn't cheating, and OOP sabotaged her friend's wedding and relationship. Flirting is cheating in my opinion, and I probably should have clarified, but I did not film her. We had a group chat and the photos and videos were sent there. I just saved them. Wouldn't you want to know if the person you love, the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, was acting like that? And it wasn't just the fact that my drink was spiked, it was that she couldn't own up to it. That it wasn't an accident, it was unintentional. I am an alcoholic. Spiking my drink could have made me relapse. And I get what you were trying to say. I was also concerned that if I messaged him I would only do that to get back at her, That is why I talked to my therapist beforehand, why I agreed with her on what I was going to say, and why I took a few days to reflect on it. If I really wanted to get back at her, I could have done it in many other ways. However, he deserves to know the truth, and as it turns out, it wasn't the first time she had done something like that. Wouldn't you want to know if your partner did that? Or would you be okay with your partner flirting with other people? I didn't want revenge. If I wanted revenge, I wouldn't just have broken up their relationship. I didn't just move on afterwards because I wanted to give her the chance to explain herself. I thought maybe she did that just to show off to her friends, that she didn't actually mean it. I knew I wasn't going to be friends with her again, but I hoped we could still be friendly since we have mutuals, etc. That is also one of the reasons why I didn't block her. Another was that you and I started to get under her skin, because people expect to be blocked in situations like that. I also don't think I am an angel of God. I was a horrible person, and to some people I probably still am. However, I am trying my best to change it. My conflict was whether I was the asshole for just leaving them without an explanation and without a ride. I didn't come to the internet to get validation to end her relationship. I came to the internet to get unbiased opinions and advice. I guess that is what you are giving me, so I will take it into consideration. I was either way planning on asking my therapist about it. What I did wasn't a good deed. I participated in breaking two people up, or at least gave him the final straw. What I did was to clear my conscience, and because I felt like he deserved to know. If now my drink wasn't spiked, I would have still told him, and that is what led me to believe it was the right thing to message him. I probably would have told him at a different time. Edit. I also did it face-to-face because I found it to be important that she could see my face. In general, I find face-to-face conversations so much better. Things through messages can be misinterpreted and can cause more drama and issues. Maybe I should have rather done it over FaceTime, since that waiting outside of her work was creepy. My 19M brother-in-law, 26M, is convinced that I'm in love with him. Pretty much what the title says. I've never posted on here before, but I do like to read the stories sometimes. Let's call my sister Diana and her boyfriend Mike. I'm the youngest of my 3 siblings, Diana, and my brother, who we'll call Carlos. I came out as gay when I was 14, and my immediate family, my parents and siblings, were all supportive. My extended family, uncles, aunts, cousins, and grandparents are less accepting, so I don't tend to be as out and open around them. I graduated high school and started college 2 years ago when I was 17. I go to the same college that my sister is doing grad school at, and to save costs, I've been staying with her and her then fiancé at their apartment. Mike had always been really nice, and I was happy that my sister was with a nice guy. My siblings and I have always been super close, and that closeness didn't go away when I started living with Diana, so I would often end up hanging out with them and their friends sometimes. The semester just ended for the two of us, and we all went home this weekend to stay with my parents. We had a big family dinner, during which Mike kept making little jokes about me liking older guys. My BF is 23, and how he would try to keep me away from him and his buddies. Me and my siblings questioned him about these jokes he was making, until he finally stopped making them. That was last night. This morning, my siblings and my parents went on a hike, which is a family activity that we usually enjoy thanks to us living close to the woods. I slept in and no one wanted to bother me, so they went without me. I figured that everyone had gone, but when I was eating my cereal in the living room and watching TV, Mike came out of the kitchen and sat next to me. I was surprised to see him, as I figured that he would have gone on the hike, but I guess not. He started by apologizing for making fun of me, and then said that it was just a nervous tic of his when he didn't want to talk about something serious. He said that it was wrong of him to joke about my crush on him. I was super confused and asked for clarification, and he said that he knew about the crush I have on him, which I don't. I asked him why he would think that, and he cited a few things that he took as liking me. 1. That I would always hang out with him and Diana. 2. That I chose to live with them instead of dorms. 3. That he barely knew my boyfriend. And 4. That I didn't bring my boyfriend to their wedding. I tried to tell him that he was insane and that none of that meant I liked him, and they all had real explanations, but he just insisted that I was just trying to cover up the fact that I was in love with him. That was a few hours ago. I haven't told anyone in my family this yet, and I didn't have lunch with my family since I've had plans to be out with high school friends all day. One friend suggested that I post this here, so I guess that's why I'm doing this. I'll be sure to update if anything serious happens. Thanks for reading, LOL. Small update. Not sure if I should have made this its own post, but if I should have, let me know. Hello everyone. I had no idea that this would take off the way it did. I have a bit of a small update. I spent the night at my friend's house last night. This was planned before any of this. This morning I woke up and saw all of your comments and speculations. I took some time to reflect on the two main possibilities that y'all seem to have come up with. Either A, he's one of those straight guys that thinks that all gay guys are attracted to him, definitely met a few of those. Or B, he likes me and is projecting it, or trying to make it sound like my idea. After thinking about it a lot, I think that it is more likely to be the second option. I am a person who really loves physical displays of affection, like hugs and cuddles and stuff. My siblings and I are super close, like I said, so I was used to showing my affection this way. Looking back, I realized that Mike was more than willing to show affection this way, as my sister is the same. Mike and Diana had been dating since high school, but I only really got to know him in the last 2 years at college. He was always open to physical affection with me, right off the bat. There have been many comments that he has made that I took as harmless at the time, but now with the context, I realize there may have been clues. He would almost always ask me how he looked, like, before he went out for the day, and would, in turn, compliment me back. I took things that he said as jokes, like when he told me that my ass looked good in an outfit, or he would tell me that I looked just like my sister, who is gorgeous. I always took this as him being nice, but now I'm not sure if that was his only intention. Anyway, to the actual update. This morning, I called for a sibling meeting at a diner that we like to go to. Sibling meetings are something that we've been doing since we were kids, where we talk about things like convincing our parents to get us a pet or splitting the household chores. We met at the diner for brunch, and my brother immediately went on and said how weird it was that Mike was making jokes about me. Diana said that he was still making jokes to her privately after dinner and that it wasn't the first time he had made those types of jokes. She said that she figured that he was one of those guys who thought that gay guys liked him, but then I told them about his apology yesterday morning and all the comments and other jokes he's made, and we all think it was pretty weird. I showed them my post, and they briefly read through the comments as well. My sister said that she would talk to him about it and told me that no matter what happened, she would never hold anything against me or blame me for anything, so that was reassuring. We had food and I went back to my friend's house, and my sister said she would let me know if anything happens. I also texted my boyfriend about all this. He's British, so we have a bit of a time difference. He hasn't responded, but I want to be sure to keep him in the loop as well. I'm currently with my friends, watching them play a video game and pretending to know what's going on, LOL. I'll keep y'all updated. Comments. Orphan under Thursday. By Mike's theory with every example, he gave you also have a crush on your sister, so I might point that out to him unless you think he'd actually believe it. Did he stay behind in hopes of talking to you alone? Maybe the real issue is he has developed a crush on you. If he continues making jokes or whatnot, then I might consider saying something to your sister, but if it ends here, I would try to bring your BF around a little more. I don't even understand why he felt the need to bring it up to you. Kinda weird. Update. Hello everyone. I would first like to say thank you all for your support in the comments of my last post and in your guys' private messages to me. After the last mini update, I had logged off of Reddit and a lot of things have happened, so I honestly kind of forgot that I even had this account still. Coincidentally, I was on TikTok a while ago when I found one of those AI voice accounts that read Reddit stories over someone playing Minecraft parkour. Those types of videos are like weeds. Once you see one of them, your entire timeline gets flooded with them. Earlier today, a video with part of my Reddit post came across my FYP, and the comments were full of people asking if there were any updates. It has been over a year, and I am so sorry for keeping you all in the dark. I saw that my last post was archived and nobody could comment on it, so I figured I should make a new post. For those of you who might be seeing me for the first time ever, I believe you can find my first post on my page. I would recommend reading that before you read this one. I would also like to issue a trigger warning for sexual assault. Now, onto the whole mess that was the past year for me. So, the last time I updated y'all was in May of last year. Me and my siblings were all on summer break from college, and were home for the summer. So, the day after I talked to my siblings at the diner, I returned home from my friend's house and everything seemed normal. My sister informed me that she had talked to her boyfriend, that he had seemed more receptive to her concerns, and he was a lot more calm towards me. He stayed with us until the end of that week, where no further incident occurred between us before he left to go visit his own family. He's on the complete other side of the country as us. A little after his departure, I noticed that I couldn't find my favorite pair of underwear after doing a load of laundry. At the time, I just chalked it up to it being lost in the wash, or maybe mixed up with someone else's clothes. They were a pair of pink briefs, which I find to be more comfortable for my body type than other forms of underwear, and unfortunately for me, considered more sexy. I'm sure you can all understand what actually happened to them. My sister only stayed with us for 2 weeks, as her job was only allowing her so much time that she could be remote. From what I knew, her boyfriend had returned to our apartment around the same time as her. I stayed for the whole month, before I too had to return to the city our college is in because I had gotten a summer internship in that city. So I was back to staying with my sister and her boyfriend. A few weeks into that, my sister was out for the night because of her friend's bachelorette party, and her boyfriend was out at a bar with his friends, which left me alone in the apartment for the night. I had a movie night and went to bed early. I awoke in the middle of the night to my sister's boyfriend in my bed, touching me. When he noticed I was awake, he held me down and assaulted me. The whole time he was doing it, he was threatening my and my sister's lives, saying that if I told her or anyone, he would kill both of us. My sister ended up staying the night at her friend's place, and her boyfriend assaulted me 2 more times before she came home. I was pretty broken by that point, and his threats against our lives were ringing in my ears all the time. This cycle continued, where my sister's boyfriend would act withdrawn from me when around others, especially my sister, then assault me whenever he could, threatening both of our lives if I ever spoke up. It's such a difficult thing to describe. The rational part of your brain tells you that it is just a manipulation tactic, that he was lying, and that I needed to speak up, but the irrational part of my brain was so scared. I don't know if that makes sense to you all. Maybe those of you who have been through a similar situation as me might understand it. I also began to change, my usually happy and bubbly personality changing to a more withdrawn, moody, almost depressed one. I took to wearing less revealing clothes, especially at home. Think from tank tops and booty shorts to t-shirts and pants, a reminder that this was happening in summer, so my previous wardrobe was better for the weather. About 3 months later, in September, when I was back to school and done with the summer internship, my sister was doing laundry one day and decided to surprise me by doing mine too, because she is a sweetheart like that. She also decided to wash my sheets for me, and that's when she saw that there were bloodstains on my sheets. This immediately raised concerns with her. So that day, when I came home from campus, I found my sister on the couch with the sheet next to her. She tentatively asked me if I had been self-harming, as she herself had been through that struggle. She has scars on her thighs from doing it. She told me that my recent change of mood and the fact that I had changed my wardrobe to be more covered up, especially my legs, had her worried. I told her I was not, but could offer no explanation as to why the sheets were bloody. It was then that I broke down and had a huge panic attack. My sister tried to calm me down at first, but when that didn't help, and I was still struggling, she decided to take me to the ER. The attack lasted for about 45 minutes, only going away when they gave me some sort of medication to help me calm down. Apologies. My memories from this particular part are a little spotty. Once I calmed down, I was allowed to stay in the hospital room for a little bit, and when it was eventually me and my sister, where I confessed it all to her, she was extremely comforting and asked me when the last time he had assaulted me was. It was the night before, so she pressed the little doctor/nurse call thing and told them that I was going to need a rape kit. For those of you who want the specifics of that process, please Google it. After that, I just wanted to go home. My sister took me and left me in her car at first, then came out and ensured that her boyfriend was not there yet. She texted him and told him to not come home, as the two of us were really sick and we did not want to infect him. The next day, instead of going to our classes, she took me to our local police station to file a police report. This whole process was also long and laborious, and honestly my memory surrounding it all is kinda hazy, something my therapist says can happen with traumatic experiences. But with the evidence found from the rape kit and my testimony, he got a sentence of 4 years and a fine, and he has to register on the sex offender registry. I am doing much better now. My schooling was only a little bit affected, but nothing too bad, and I'm on summer break again. My sister and I are both close still. We are both in therapy, and I am getting through things day by day. I am currently writing this from home, and I'm flying out to London next week to see my boyfriend. I will try to not forget this page again, haha. Additional information from OOP on how Mike was confronted. OOP, yeah, so he was at a friend's place while we were at our apartment. My sister was still maintaining that we were sick. We told the police which friend he was likely to be staying with, and he was taken from there. Since I got the rape kit, they were able to get DNA from that, plus we submitted the sheets as evidence, and there was some DNA on there too. The police compared his DNA to the DNA found, and that was what nailed him as guilty. He maintained his innocence until his sentence was delivered. He threatened me when they were taking him out. OOP shares details from Mike's family after they found out what happened and their reactions. OOP, his family was a bit of a problem at first. His parents sort of had the "my son would never" attitude. They attended all of the court sessions, and as more and more of our evidence, DNA from the rape kit and the sheets, pictures of the bruises he left on me and of the sheets themselves, was shown, and at my testimony, they admonished him. They sent my sister a message apologizing for his actions and sending me their sympathies. He has a sister from what I know, but I haven't seen her. She might be estranged or have little contact based on what my sister has told me. Comments. Here for mysteries. I'm so heartbroken that this happened to you. I am so proud of you for coming forward. That is outrageously difficult and not something everyone is able to do. I'm so very thankful your sister listened, believed you, and supported you. There are no words to adequately describe the strength and love you and your sister have shown. All my love, Greenheart. OOP, thank you. I really wouldn't be anywhere without my sister. I had no idea of what to do or how to report it or anything. Thank you for your words of encouragement. Initial_obligation 55. No the update I expected nor wanted, but I'm glad you got some form of justice. I really am praying for your recovery, honey. You didn't deserve that, and neither did your sister. I can only imagine how you feel, and I truly hope that you heal from all the hurt physically, mentally, and spiritually. Sending you and your sister so much love, Pa. OOP, thank you so much. I'm doing better every day, smiley face.